last time we had this visualization of foam through the structural idealization, where the polyhedral foam bubbles could be imagined to be replaced by regular pentagonal dodecahedra. And we noted that there was one shortcoming of this model, and that was that it doesn't fill up space completely. So about 3% void is left when you try to pack these dodecahedra together without distortion, and it turned out that that space could be filled up by liquid, and therefore this happens to be a promising model for the analysis of gas absorption with chemical reaction in a foam. I also had explained to you that the liquid holdup would vary with the height if we measure it from the interface with the storage section. So, as you go upward, the liquid holdup would vary with the distance, it would decrease gradually for viscous liquids like concentrated solutions of glycerol or CMC, carboxy methyl cellulose. But for ordinary aqueous solutions like of sodium hydroxide, sodium sulfide, etc., the solution behaves as an inviscid liquid, and the liquid holdup drops sharply near the interface within first few centimeters and then becomes approximately constant. It diminishes, but very slowly. So, that prompted us to kind of neglect the significant variation of liquid holdup near the interface at the bottom of the foam section or top of the storage section, and visualize the entire foam section to be present at an averaged liquid holdup. And if the gas absorption is not from very concentrated mixture of oxygen with nitrogen, and we use air, so we do not have very high concentration of oxygen in mixture with nitrogen, plus the dissolution and diffusion of oxygen even with chemical reaction is not sufficient to warrant any concerns about change of bubble size with the height. Having said that, although the liquid content in foam section is relatively low, the variation in bubble size from bottom to the top could be neglected. So, we have this possibility of working with a constant bubble size and average liquid holdup, and now we are in a position to think of making use of symmetry based on this idealization in order to analyze the gas absorption problem. Now, there are two aspects to this analysis. One is to know how to express the concentration of liquid phase reactant sodium sulfide in the liquid returning from foam section into the storage section. That is our focus. Unless we cite that, we can't make use of that material balance on storage section and determine conversion or performance of the foam bed reactor. And second is about how we analyze this gas absorption in the foam section, and that will involve couple of things. One is the physical understanding of the situation, and based on that understanding, writing the equations for the gas absorption in foam section. It turns out that because we have a finite liquid film in foam section which we will analyze, the complexity, mathematical complexity is a little bit more. So, in order not to lose the focus of the understanding, I will probably take you along that analysis somewhat interactively here, as well as combining with your homework. In the process, I will be able to explain to you the details of how to go about solving linear boundary value problems using the Laplace transforms for finite domains. That something which I had promised you earlier, which the tables won't permit you to do. Okay. But at the same time, I don't want you to get lost in the mathematical detail and lose the focus, because the greater emphasis is in being able to understand and write equations for this complex reactor. Once you understand this, the other reactors, conventional reactors, should be relatively simpler for you. Okay. So, few things are required to be known about the reaction. We should consider this Na2S in the aqueous phase is being oxidized into sodium thiosulfate and other things, and this reaction is, as I have shown, irreversible. It turns out that determination of kinetics of gas liquid reactions, obviously when you have gas and liquid together, we have heterogeneous systems. Determination of kinetics for heterogeneous systems is a challenge in itself, and above all it will require one particular relevant aspect of mass transfer, that is the reactor or contactor you use to measure those kinetics have to have a known area. So, you go for what are known as model contactors, and it turned out that this reaction had already been studied by a group at what is known as Institute of Chemical Technology at Mumbai, earlier UD City, and they had used the gas liquid contactor with known interfacial area, which involved a planar interface. So, there would be a layer of liquid and then there is vapor space or gas above. Both the gas and liquid are separately stirred slowly, and eliminating the mass transfer resistance, one could operate under the kinetically controlled regime and determine the kinetics. So, those kinetics were already known for this reaction. As you could expect, because we have two species here, for us oxygen will be A and sodium sulfide as B. The reaction between oxygen and sodium sulfide actually happens to be second order. Okay. So, one might say roughly that minus Ra is say K2 Cb, where Ca and Cb are the concentrations of dissolved oxygen and dissolved sodium sulfide in the aqueous solution. This rate constant was known. We still would be advised to note that since Ca and Cb are in a product, they create a nonlinear function. So, this reaction kinetics is nonlinear. It so happens that relatively simple looking differential equations containing nonlinearity are very difficult to solve. So, one needs probably some consideration of reaction here. One possibility is that we could consider sodium sulfide concentration Cb to be high enough so that any variation in the concentration of sodium sulfide during the ascent of one foam bubble from bottom to the top in its associated liquid films, if that is small, then we could treat Cb to be constant and club it with K2. Okay. I will not go into details of deriving the pseudo first order condition, but there is a mathematical condition which you can check and decide whether for a given time of contact or the time of residence of gas in contact with liquid, the change near the interface of the liquid phase component sodium sulfide here is indeed negligible or not. It turns out for the concentrations which occur in practice for sodium sulfide and with air as the oxidation medium, that pseudo first order condition is met with for even the large times of contact offered by the foam bed reactor. So, we could say K2Cb is some pseudo first order reaction rate constant lambda with the units of second inverse into the concentration of dissolved oxygen. Okay. So, by invoking the pseudo first order conditions, we have circumvented this problem of nonlinearity, and now minus Ra equal to lambda Ca, this looks a reasonable description of reaction kinetics for heterogeneous system. There is a little more to it. What we are trying to say is the following. If you recall the assumptions we set out, we said that this reaction is fast. Therefore, the concentration of dissolved oxygen in returning liquid from foam section into storage section will be insignificant, negligible, almost close to 0. So, within the storage section, we are saying that there is no bulk phase reaction happening. Second, the storage section is at most 2 or 3 centimeters tall, and the bubbles rise with a velocity representative of about say 25 centimeter per second. So, the total time of contact spent by air bubbles in the storage section is negligible. So, concentration of dissolved oxygen is negligible, time of contact is negligible. So, we said that we will completely neglect the reaction happening in the storage section. No reaction in the bulk of liquid in the storage section, not even significant absorption or reaction in the vicinity of bubble surface in the storage section. Okay. So, we are completely neglecting in this model, first model of foam bed reactor, all reaction and absorption in the storage section. Clear? However, one of the merits of the foam bed reactor is that unlike the situation in storage section or a bubble column, storage section is nothing but a short bubble column, where the rise velocity of the bubbles is only dependent on the size of the bubble and the gravity and the density difference. So, once you release a bubble of a given size in a liquid, it goes on its own, there is now no control. It would probably accelerate and eventually attain a terminal rise velocity, and after that the velocity will become constant. Unlike that, in a foam reactor, you have the layer of foam forming one by one. So, first set of bubbles will form first layer, next set of bubbles will form second layer. So, as these bubbles are introduced and we can control the flow rate of air. So, how many bubbles we release and what size bubbles we release, that is up to us. We can control the rate at which foam would rise through the column. So, that enables, apart from very large interfacial area, a very important characteristic of reactor that we are seeking, the time of contact is very large. So, it is not of the order of a typical 1 second or so, you can easily have 10 seconds, 100 seconds, even larger. It will only depend on this operating variable under your control, the gas flow rate or air flow rate. So, if you introduce air at a small rate, you will be able to make foam move very slowly, enabling the gas liquid reaction to happen to a significant extent. So, our objective here will be to perform the absorption and reaction in the foam section. So, if that is the case, then in the liquid associated with the films around air bubbles in foam section, the reaction has to meet this pseudo first order condition, which means in the given time of contact, say Tc star in the foam section, if the drop in concentration is may be a few percents at the most of sodium sulphide. Then it will mean that sodium sulphide concentration is practically constant all through the film. Near the surface it may dip a little on both sides. However, that dip in concentration is not very large, and if that were very large, then this would not be pseudo first order reaction. Okay, so that is our assumption. In the time of contact Tc star available in foam section, the change in concentration of sodium sulphide should not be very significant, right, and it should be limited to the extent that this pseudo first order reaction rate constant can be defined. If there were large variation in Cb, and if lambda were to change in that time scale Tc star, then one would be forced to go back to this second order equation. There would be no option but to take that second order reaction accompanying gas absorption in foam films. Okay. So, we are making our life simpler, and it is somewhat fortuitous in the sense that kinds of concentrations you expect to see in the effluents of kraft paper mill, they will be actually much larger than what we require. Okay. So, in the laboratory we could choose concentrations which are representative of the practice or much smaller concentrations, and still have this pseudo first order condition reaction met. Okay. So, returning back to what you thought, the concentration of sodium sulphide would change, but not alarmingly. Okay. Having said that, if it were to be the case that at the reactor scale in the storage section, the concentration of sodium sulphide were not to change at all, then it would be a non-problem. We won't be interested in that, because we want to use this as a reactor for consumption of sodium sulphide. But please remember that this entire operation of foam bed reactor can go for hours, days or months together. Okay. Which means you can continue to contact the sodium sulphide solution and air for a very large time compared to the residence time of foam within the column. Under the conditions we have chosen, the time of contact was of the order of 13 seconds. Compared to that, the reaction would be carried for about 1 hour. So, this time scale in the foam section was small compared to the reactor time scale. Okay. So, within the foam section, we could presume pseudo first order condition, analyze gas absorption, and actually estimate the concentration change happening with time for sodium sulphide in the storage section. That is our objective. Experiments we perform normally are semi batch. We put a batch of liquid and the air is passed continuously through it. Okay. But in a practical operation, we would need a continuous flow, because you won't be happy reacting just 250 cc of solution in an hour. You might have to deal with tons per day of liquid flowing through the reactor. It depends. So, it depends. We can design, that is a separate question. How do we design the foam bed reactor later? We will may have chance to come to that. It turns out that no matter what is the kind of time of contact you choose within the storage section, a single foam bed reactor may not be sufficient. So, you actually require a train of reactors. So, we will come to that aspect maybe later. But is that clear now so far, that we are choosing pseudo first order conditions in order to treat this nonlinear reaction kinetics by this linearized pseudo first order reaction kinetics. Okay. In the time scale Tc star, which is in the foam section, which is the time the foam bubble spends at the beginning of the foam section and till the time it bursts and releases air. Okay. So, now having clarified the reaction kinetics aspects, let us return to the actual statement of problem which we need to have before the concentration of sodium sulphide in the liquid returning from foam section could be estimated. So, I will need little more space here. Okay. So, now let us say we have a film of liquid within the foam section, which is shared by two adjacent bubbles. Maybe I should show you some pictures here. Okay, I think I should have shown you these pictures much earlier, but sometimes it is better to have a visual picture after you have been introduced to it in words. There are many things here. If you look at the gas liquid foam, you would typically see something like this. Okay. These are the pictures of polymeric foam. You are aware that we make use of extensive use of porous solids these days. They are mostly polymers like polyurethane, which are foamed, and you lock up the foam structure in a polymerized liquid. So, basically you create foam in a liquid which is the monomeric solution, maybe with the help of a catalyst, and then you freeze it by virtue of the polymerization. So, these will be the kinds of pictures of polymeric foams. This on the other hand is a liquid foam, all these are liquid foams, and made one point earlier that foam possesses a certain amount of rigidity, and that is the reason foam would rise through a column as a plug. This particular picture is an aqueous foam with basil leaf extract. So, you see this greenish portion because the liquid in the Plato borders is greenish, and since there are lots of Plato borders, it would appear as if the films too are colored, but actually films are colorless. I told you earlier that if you had to color so film, you require very different chemistry and extraordinary effort. Okay. Then you see this rigidity of foam, and then I think something you can relate to your experience. You might have seen quite a few times in our country effluents from chemical industries running into rivers and lakes, and this is a lake in Bangalore which is completely covered by foam. It turns out this foam may contain volatile organic compounds, and occasionally this whole water body can catch fire. I mean, the entire foam starts burning, and with the kind of discharge of plastic that we have, this would become an environmental problem, because that would not only be harmful for the life underwater, but also would emit lots of vapors, much of it poisonous. So, in general, we notice that the foam is undesirable, but we are turning it on its head and making it actually work for us to perform efficiently gas liquid reactions with the high times of contact and very high large interfacial areas and moderate pressure drops in a foam reactor. This is to put in perspective the occurrence of foam and its effects on our life. You see here the other pictures of foam. This is more clear. The colors you see in the films here, they are not colors of the films per se, but it is an optical phenomenon. It is the scattering of light through foam which leads to interference patterns and so on. So, those colors are from the optical phenomenon. If you now look at the structure of foam bubbles here, you see they are polyhedral. This is what I had asked you to imagine when you were to observe the surf or foam or froth that you produce when you whip a surfactant solution while washing clothes. Large bubbles will become polyhedral like this. If you were to account for the actual shape of these foam bubbles and their sizes variations in a column which may be about 1 meter tall, it would be practically impossible even when we are awash with computational power today. Okay. So, we needed to have this structural idealization. We said that these flat films meet together and 3 films meet together like here, here and here, and they meet together in a Plato border. This is the cross section of that Plato border. So, there is a flat film here, here and here, and there is central region. This curvilinear triangular region is the low pressure region of Plato border. So, when you release liquid or add liquid to foam, it goes selectively through the Plato borders. Okay. we are interested in gas absorption in the flat film, because the total area, although it is magnified here, offered by Plato borders is small compared to the total area offered by the flat films. Okay. Now, it is here that we need to start our analysis. What we have said is that this entire foam can be taken at an average liquid hold up. So, all films will be conceptualized to be of constant thickness at the average value. And if you look at now any of these films, these will be shared by adjacent gas bubbles. Okay. The question is, if we replace this by dodecahedra, the regular pentagonal dodecahedra, then how does it help in analyzing the gas absorption? That is the point now I have to return to. So, you agree that if film thicknesses are all constant, they have the same shape and size, then each film will be surrounded by two gas pockets of adjacent bubbles. Okay. And then if we analyze for the gas absorption in a stagnant foam film like this, we should be able to take this analysis further to the entire foam section. You agree with this? So, that is going to be the starting point now. We will presume the foam films are all of same size, there is no flow within the film. So, it is a stagnant liquid shared by adjacent gas pockets. Now, you need to imagine a little bit more. If one particular film is shared by two regular pentagonal dodecahedra, this is the idealization. What we are looking at is one particular pentagonal film. All films will be same size, same shape, same thickness. This particular film has the inner surface facing the contents of this bubble, air inside. Agreed? And above the plane of the board, this is now being shared by air in the bubble above the plane of the board, two adjacent bubbles. So, this light green film is one which is shared by two regular pentagonal dodecahedra. Each bubble has 12 faces. So, every film will have corresponding bubble sharing the liquid. Okay. But if we can analyze this much, it will be analyzing everything. Okay. So, we see now symmetry in the problem under the setup structural idealization. We go one step further and we say that actually this single unit, this film, if I slice it by a mid plane into two liquid film halves, I have half a film in contact with the bubble which is below the plane of the board. Okay. I will take you a little further. What happens above is identical. So, I do not even have to consider one whole film shared by two bubbles, half a film shared by one bubble is enough, and we need to go a little further than this. I now need you to visualize this. At the center of this dodecahedron, let us say that point, the center of this bubble, we connect to all these vertices. In our visualization, we connect all vertices to the center of the bubble. What would we have done? We would have split up the dodecahedron into 12 gas pyramids with the apex at the center and base, which is this film for this pyramid, next one is this, and so on. So, if you take these, they are the pentagonal base, and they have pentagonal base and the apex at the center of the bubble. So, we will have split up this dodecahedron into 12 pyramidal gas pockets, each with a pentagonal base and apex at the center. Okay. Now, we got the basic structural unit. We have half a liquid film and one pyramidal gas pocket. Everything else is repetition of this. Okay. There is a particular word for arguments and geometries of this kind called tessellation. You can look it up later, but basically the TESSELATION, TESSELATION, tessellation. So, we realize now that the entire problem of dealing with the real foam is reduced to analysis of a stagnant half film which is in contact with a pyramidal gas pocket. If you consider the other half, then there is a symmetry. Okay. Now, that is our starting point here. Now, if the geometry is clear, we should be able to move on with our analysis. This is our foam film, the liquid is here, and these are the gas pockets where air is, aqueous solution of Na2S. And we said that if we have a mid plate, we only need to consider this half film and this gas pyramidal pocket. The liquid is presumed to be stagnant, neglecting convection. Okay? I am showing these gas pyramidal pockets by these triangles. If you were to look from the side in this direction, you would see this film as a pentagon and this apex has the dot over there, center. That is the center of this bubble. Clear? It is in this pyramid that we have oxygen, and sodium sulphide which is present here is the liquid phase reactant B. So, A is oxygen in the gas pocket, B is sodium sulphide in the liquid phase. Oxygen dissolves at this interface between gas and liquid in the liquid, and then it dissolves and diffuses inside. Because there is a symmetry in the problem, one might say this is going to be the profile of concentration, symmetric. This will be Ca. This profile we will need to know as a function of space coordinate and time. We have to determine that, okay? Which means our problem now is to write a governing differential equation for diffusion with chemical reaction for this half film and that gas pyramid. And please remember, bubbles, foam bubbles are finite size, so this gas pyramid is of finite volume. The liquid film is thin enough, so liquid is also finite. Both gas and liquid are finite in extents. Oxygen is in mixture with nitrogen, so it is not pure oxygen. So, in principle the gas phase oxygen concentration can vary, partial pressure of oxygen can vary as a result of absorption, and therefore, the saturation concentration at the interface can change with time. If the bubble is starting at the bottom, partial pressure will be that of oxygen in air. As we go upward, it may be reduced a little bit. So, saturation concentration will also possibly decrease. And this profile of Ca, that is dissolving and diffusing oxygen within the film, will depend on the diffusivity within the film, time, and also the reaction rate constant which we have taken pseudo first order reaction rate constant. Okay. So, now let us look at the equations which govern the absorption from this pyramidal air pocket into half liquid. Okay. To go back to the presentation now, for the liquid film, the concentration of A will be function of time, and we indicate time in the foam section with this T subscript C. Tc is the time gas is in contact with the liquid or liquid is in contact with the gas in the foam section, with an upper limit which is the time when the film ruptures, that will be Tc star. So, during this time, within this half film that we just now seen, the equation which will govern the diffusion and reaction is going to be this. Accumulation, this is the diffusion term and that is the reaction term if it is a second order reaction. We can simplify under this condition the kinetics to be pseudo first order, and so the equation becomes what we have here. Equation 3 here, dou Ca by dou Tc is equal to dA dou 2 Ca by dou x square minus lambda Ca. That is our diffusion reaction equation. Okay. I repeat, this is the equation for diffusion of oxygen dissolving into the film and together with its reaction with the sodium sulphide at this pseudo first order reaction rate constant lambda, which will be K2 times Cb, second order reaction rate constant times the high enough concentration of sodium sulphide within the liquid film. Okay. I hope now you can see the connect with what we had seen earlier. In fact, this equation is also not new to you now. Okay, and I introduce this equation to you right in the first tutorial problem, that solid polymeric membrane and this liquid foam film for analysis are identical. Clear? Now the question is, what are the initial and boundary conditions? We require initial condition because we have dou by dou Tc of Ca. And what would be the initial condition? It is the concentration of dissolved oxygen when a foam film starts out of the storage section. The bubble comes out of storage section, becomes a foam, that is where the film is created. The concentration of dissolved oxygen on account of fast reaction in the storage section we have taken is 0. So, the initial concentration for foam film also will be Ca equal to 0. Dissolved oxygen concentration in the film to begin with is 0. Now, you have the second partial of Ca with x, dou 2 Ca by dou x square, and that means you require now two conditions on Ca at two values of x. What are those two values of x we seek boundary conditions at? One will be at the surface, that is the interface between liquid and gas. The other would be mid plane. Okay. Or equivalently, if you take the entire film, then at x equal to plus a and x equal to minus a, what are the conditions? It is symmetry. So, you can work with either half film or full film. I am showing here x equal to plus or minus a, which means at the mid plane x is 0, mid plane x is 0, and you may say to your right x is plus a and x is minus a to your left. These are the interfaces. X equal to plus a and minus a are the liquid air interfaces. At those interfaces, what kind of boundary condition can we write? It will be identical condition because of symmetry, right? It is the same thing. So, if you see the equation here, you see on the left hand side Vb by 12 dou Ca star by dou Tc, and it may not be clear to you at this moment what is that Ca star, or even physically what would this be coming from. But let us come to the easier part. Look at the right hand side. It is minus or plus dAs dou Ca by dou x. That is familiar to you. Minus dA dou Ca by dou x, that is a flux. Okay. S is the area of this pentagonal film. Area of that pentagon is S. So, we have multiplied the flux of oxygen by the area of the pentagon. So, this is the rate at which oxygen will be absorbed into the film. Is that clear? What is entering the liquid film has to come from somewhere. Where is it coming from? It is coming from the gas pocket. Now, recall my explanation that when you connect the center of the bubble to all the vertices, you break up the air bubble into 12 pyramids. They will all be of equal volume. If the bubble volume is Vb, volume of the pyramid is going to be Vb by 12. So, that Vb by 12 is the volume of the pyramid adjacent to one liquid phase. And what we have here is dou Ca star by dou Tc. This corresponds to actually the concentration within the bubble of oxygen. So, if the volume of the bubble does not change, volume of the gas pocket does not change, then Vp by 12, which is constant, is taken out, and this is the gas phase concentration. This gives you rate of depletion of oxygen in that pocket. So, what enters the film is coming from the depletion of the corresponding quantity or rate inside the bubble. So, gas loses, liquid gains. Okay. So, with this we should be able to attempt to solve the problem. I could have written alternatively this condition at x equal to plus a, and at x equal to 0 I could have said symmetry means dou Ca by dou x equal to 0. It is identical equivalent way of describing it. Okay. Now, we should be able to attempt solution of this problem provided we overcome one more constraint. This is a gas phase concentration. On the right hand side we have liquid phase concentration. Unless we can convert this into liquid phase concentration, we can't possibly solve the problem. There we make use of the equilibrium relationship. So, if the gas phase concentration is multiplied by this Henry's law constant and we get liquid phase concentration, then making use of this we can transform this condition from Ca star to Ca, and that is what we have done here. And in the process we come out with this L, which is Vv by 12 Ks, and now we have this condition at x equal to plus A or minus A, or at plus A, and at x equal to 0 we take dou Ca by dou x equal to 0. With this now we have the complete formulation we should be able to attempt to solve. Gas phase resistance is neglected because generally it is known, and this is I think I will demonstrate with some other example. When you have liquid phase in contact with the gas, the resistance offered by liquid is usually much higher than gas. Under only one condition, if the accompanying reaction is extraordinarily fast, very fast, then the gas phase resistance can become significant, but under these conditions here it is negligible. So, next time now we are going to attempt to solve this problem, but I would say you should try to at least make a progress in solving this equation using Laplace transform. I know you have done this, you have taken Laplace transform of such an equation. So, do that, and you have the condition here, these two conditions at plus A and minus A, or at plus A and 0. You try to solve this problem and obtain at least the Laplace transform Ca bar, and I will explain to you how to invert that. Okay. Plus A and 0, 0, right.